Yes.
What?
So Jona, are you there?
No.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, there
online.
he is. Yeah.
Just
Yeah, we just wanted to check. So what do you want to address, Steve, before we start talking?
Ooh, we can jump in any with anything we want. I just want to mention at the beginning that I feel like we're in the time of right now we're in a phase of war. Okay, I'm getting many attacks from the side of Claire through my family. Okay, which I've dealt with today. It's more or less clear for people that it's in my responsibility to deal with that. And also, I got 14 messages from Karin, 14 in the morning today, which
Karin? Which Karin?
Karin is the wife of Philip.
All right.
And 14 messages, and 3 hours later, she deleted all of them. So, yeah, that's how I wanted to start with. And yeah, I'm all for navigating through this maze, because there's a lot of energetic influences here, and we have to get clear on things. Okay, we need clarity, and I want to establish clarity on the basis of the natural order. Okay, principles always first.
Then it will be.
Yeah, because that is a very strange thing to do, to write messages and then delete them. And they were so insightful. Unfortunately, I didn't photograph them and did screenshots, but they were incredibly insightful. And that's why she deleted it also.
Or what kind of messages?
It was a continuation of the psychological profiling that she was trying with me, and explaining herself. Okay, and it was all about the children, and it's all about her family, and she wants to protect her family from negative influences. And yeah, and she established at the end that she's absolutely no Satanist, and she has nothing to do with Satanism. And that I found quite profound, to state that out so clearly. You know, that's just what I'm saying. There's big question marks here when it comes to Philip and her. That's what I want to. That's my point of view, and I see similar patterns as with Liz. So that's it for me for now.
Right. So something's come to light, and I feel like this definitely has to be talked about, Steve, because it can't continue like this. Given the energy and the dynamics and things that have, the events that have taken place, that's led up to this moment now. I just feel that from the events that took place on the ayahuasca, on the ceremony that you and Eril and the wizard was there, and I think Jona was there too. That you had. You see, for me, I worked with the medicine last year, and my personal, everyone's got a personal relationship to it as well. And I heard what you took 4 cups. Wow, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. Was it 4 cups?
4 cups? No, I didn't take 4 cups.
How many cups?
Or
did you
3,
take?
I think.
The first ceremony we took 1, and the second one was 2, but there was very little in each. The doses was small.
Small.
Or was it Florian that took 3?
Oh, you mean at Walters?
Yeah, Walters, Slater's, yeah. I think Florian took 3, and I think you did as well with him, or?
I took 2.
Mm.
Well, 2 of the small cups, okay, they were very small cups. So the small cups he poured into the larger one, and then I had another small cup, so it was like 3 small ones. Yeah. And
One and a
Walters.
half.
Yeah,
One
one
and
and
a
a
half.
half.
So we've been talking a lot, Steve, you know, over the last how many months now we've been talking, especially you and I, you know, we've had a lot of one-on-ones together. And, you know, I've seen the ups and downs, right? We've been through it as well together. And, you know, now, like in reflection from what I'm seeing, what I'm realizing now is that I can see symptoms of PTSD in you. And I
What
can
is
also
PTSD?
post-traumatic stress disorder. Yeah, we've all got it. Look, there's nothing to be ashamed of. We've all fucking got it to some form of degree, but some worse than others. And the problem with PTSD is it develops narcissistic behavior. And what I'm seeing in terms of behavior from what Eril's told me about what happened that day and the context of what happened.
Which day, Ahmed?
The ceremony, what happened with Jonathan and the demi and all that sort of stuff going on during the ceremony, and you know, Steve having to go out and separate and all this sort of shit that was going on. You know, what I see overall, an arching thing, is it's disharmony. And during ceremonies, if anything, everything should be, you know, when it's done properly, it should be harmonious because it's about healing and the intention of healing. And what ayahuasca does is it brings out things in you because it's got nothing to do with another person. It's a very introverted medicine. And the behavior it will display in you will tell you your psychological state and your spiritual state. And that's what I'm seeing, Steve, that's what I'm trying to say. There's something, you know, and I say this from my heart, all right? Because I love you as well, all right? That I see your suffering, okay? And you've been working your ass off with all this notice of liability and all the other previous, you know, 2 years. You said you had a few years of depression beforehand as well, before you started public speaking.
10 years.
10 years, man. That's a long time. And you know what? We've all had it. This is not like an exclusive thing to you, but myself, to be your brother, to be your friend, right? I have to speak my truth and what I see. And what I'm seeing is behavior that's not, for me, morally right. Because now that I'm gaining more perspectives from other people with certain events that have taken place, I can see now from the ayahuasca. See, the ayahuasca, she doesn't lie. She shows you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. That's what she is. She will expose your own weaknesses. And that's what it did for me. And that's why I do the shadow work. And that's why I integrate her into me with an open heart, because I always approach it with a heart. This finger pointing, external, Jonathan is the demi, that's the demi. Everybody's the demi except for you, Steve. Right? We've all got demis in us to slay. And fuck, man, I've been slaying my demi. And I know you've been doing your best as well. And we all do our best. But through these relationships that are formed and this new friendship that we have, I want to move forward together with truth and love in the heart and transparency, right? No framing, no fucking manipulation of events, no nothing. We want to get clarity.
Have you ever heard my side of the story?
I've heard all your sides of the story, Steve.
No,
I've
you've
been
not
talking
heard.
to you the most.
No, but we didn't talk about the second ayahuasca experience from my side of the story. I've never told you that.
The second one. And you told me about the
What?
night with Jonathan and all that happened.
And Walter, second Walter. Or
The third experience, the psychotic one.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now, what I wanna say to this, and thank you, Ahmed, for sharing this. Okay, I definitely think there's definitely some post-traumatic stress disorder going on here. This is a variable that plays into this, but it's not only me. Okay, and when I say it's not that someone is the demi, it's not that Jonathan is the demi or anyone being the demi. I don't say things as blunt like this because quite honestly, that absolutely misses the point. Okay, what my talent is, okay, is to spot behaviors, psychological operations that come from people. And this is how I navigate through what is a satanic network, okay, that exists. I want to establish that. There is a network of Satanists operating in this country and internationally. And this is what I spot, okay, and where I make conclusions, but also putting into perspective that we all are learning in all of this, okay? But I need to keep my eyes open for these influences because I have encountered them over and over and over again, ever since I started public speaking about 5G. Okay, I had one agent after the other come into my life, and that has been my very protection up to this point. And that's just what I'm dealing with. And I always keep an open mind on this. Okay, everything always stays open. However, that's what I will keep my awareness tuned to. Okay, and the only way to navigate through that, and the only remedy and solution to this, is to have an anchoring in the principles of the natural order. And those who break those principles and try and invert them, okay, and make psychological profiles and play psychological games, there's hints, okay, where they're going in to the dark end. Okay, so this is just what I want to establish. This is what I bring to the table. I can spot Satanists, and I work from that basis to cut the cords with them and not have anything to do with them. And establish the power dynamics. Okay, this is about power also, to tell them what I see bluntly in that moment, and then retreat and get their perspective, because I can also be wrong. But this is what I mentioned when I was talking on an audio, is the masculine energy that ayahuasca was communicating to me directly. She said, now you're going to face the biggest tests and you need to be strong. And she was giving me that strength. And it need not be confused. Okay, this is also what I want to write down. The masculine energy of self-defense need not be confused with, you know, with the ego. Oh, that's your ego, or you're being paranoid. Okay, because this is a very thin path we're navigating through here, and we are definitely encountering people that are in the satanic hierarchy, very high up, very high up.
Steve, do you think you're the only one who can see through satanic networks?
I didn't say that. I just say that's my talent that I wanted to share. I didn't say that excludes anyone.
Right, we're aware of your talents, man.
I don't. Yeah, I'm more aware of my talents probably than anyone else outside of me.
That's not the point here, man. We're talking about you, and you shifted attention from you again onto satanic network that's going on outside again. And you always do this. Why?
How it's saying? My English is, of course, my English is that bad. You put you out of the misery.
Huh?
Steve puts him out of the misery. Is this right? In English?
Puts who out? Who's him?
Himself
Puts who-
out of the misery.
No,
Like
I
this.
take full responsibility that I also have shadows to integrate, which I'm not prepared to run away from, because that's my very protection in realizing my own learning lessons that I have. Absolutely. I just said what I wanted to say, and we can gladly come back to me. It's no problem. I was just on a trail of thought, which I ended. And I don't need this, and you always do this, Eril, okay? Because I also have some things to talk about you also, because it's not only me that has to learn, okay? This is also something I want to establish.
Yeah, cool.
Right. So where do we start here? Like,
Can I ask you, how does post-traumatic stress disorder, how does it manifest? Can
it
you, what's your
manifests
intel on it?
psychologically. PTSD is a form of trauma. It's a form of shock that lasts long term. It's a long term psychological condition. And when you leave it unchecked for too long, it just deteriorates and it causes narcissism, delusion, and other ailments of schizophrenia, paranoia. You know, that's what it leads to.
Psychosis.
Yeah, that's the traits it leads to, sadly. And I've had to learn that the hard way myself. And you know, that includes lying, compulsive lying, or form of lying to hide away or hide that part of your, I guess, dementia in a way from people because you're too scared to face it, because the trauma is just a lot to integrate.
Is there an example one can give about lying, that I lied?
I will respond to your question. Ahmed is on to talk.
No, this goes differently.
I'm
I
just
can also
saying
ask
that
questions
these
in
are the
between.
traits. It's funny that you brought that up because I was only telling you about the traits that it brings out. You asked me what was PTSD and what sort of things brings up, and lying was also part of it. I never accused you, but it's interesting that you raised that subject.
Yeah, because I wanted to have, like, what comes to your mind, for example? Where did I lie?
I don't know. You tell me, Steve, because you just raised that particular point out of all the attributes that I described, and lying seemed to.
Yeah, the lying is the one thing that I really want to get to the bottom of, okay, and be in a truthful space. So that's why I asked, when it comes to me, what comes to anyone's mind here, because I want to navigate through this, okay? I want to take a look into it, a deep look, okay? I've got nothing to protect here, okay? And I can only navigate myself through the observations of others, because I only have my own observation. And from what I can say is that I try from the heart. I try my absolute best for myself, my protection. And that's the reason why I never get any visit from a police or anyone, because I don't attract any of these sorts of things. And further, I try to have the protection of what is a group of people that I care a lot about, that I see as my family also. And that's why I'm asking pointedly, where are lies to be seen when it comes to me and my actions?
Errol?
Okay, about this slaying the demi business. The demi we want to slay, okay, has been chilling with us all along, ever since I've been to Austria. I came into your life, Steve, okay? Claire was there, was chilling with Claire, slayed Claire. She's gone. So where do you think the demi resides after Claire's gone from the equation?
Where the demi resides, I think the demi can work through many different people.
Yeah, but the demi was with us with Claire, so we slayed her. So she's gone. So who's the next link it would jump to?
Well, I would say John Lash, isn't it?
Really?
I don't know.
No. But John Lash isn't with me. He's not with us. He's not here.
Yeah, okay.
And he's
So
never
you-
been in the equation apart from the fact that we've spoken to him in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it stopped, and then it's been months, and we spoke to him again and got rid of him again.
Okay. So the demi is working through me.
Exactly. There's no other way of saying it, Steve. There's no other way of
Yes.
saying it. I just have to say this, Steve, okay?
Wow.
I manifested this place. This is my life work, okay? And the demi doesn't come into my fucking house. I'm not talking to you, Steve. I'm the demi, okay? I'm talking about the demi. He doesn't come into my house.
We want Steve.
So
That's who we want right now.
Wait. He's going to seek to come into this house with the people who are close to me. And what I observed ever since I've been here is you really, 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 really nearly messed this whole place up for everyone.
Asking questions. Eril, you know that I'm an investigative journalist. And I was
Don't
asking questions.
skip the subject.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't skip the
and so-
subjects. You're very authoritative, Eril. Wow. Now you can stand up for yourself. son.
because it's okay for you to be authoritative, okay? So why can't I?
You can.
Karen was asking you questions, and because it intimidated you, you said she was psychologically profiled. You do this to people all the time.
How
So
do I do
are
this?
you Satanist too? No. So why can't people question you? At the end of the day, this woman, okay, is concerned about her family, and you were invited here, okay, you and Chris, all of us, for a weekend of ceremonies, and we paid nothing, okay? They hosted us.
And
then
why didn't we
you-
pay nothing? Why didn't we pay nothing? Has
Why
it got
didn't we pay
something to
nothing?
do with the attack that you never intervened and just let happen with all the people being hypnotized right in front
Which
of you?
attack? Which
In
attack
the
you talking
second ceremony on Sunday.
The
Guy
touching.
running
yeah.
around, touching
I-
me during a ceremony, okay, and then
Yeah.
walking to all the other people, okay, and hypnotizing them. You just did nothing. The wizard looked at you and said, Errol, what the fuck? And you just sat there and let it all
Mhm.
happen. Full control
What
over the
makes-
ceremony.
What makes you think that I was doing nothing? Because I didn't react in the manner you did.
No, I'm just pointing it out. To me, it looked like you were doing nothing. Okay, and you can have a say in that. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
the reason why I didn't pay anything here is because I got directly attacked in the second ceremony by the guy who runs this place here.
Yeah, because he fucked up. And we established that. He broke the rules and he took mushrooms, okay? Stupid idiot. And he started messing around and touching people, which is where the hack came from. Very wrong, okay? But I was aware of the situation, okay? And because of the way you reacted, okay, with Chris, it just made situations worse. And then you leave the ceremony, you tell him to fuck off, and then you tell Marco to, and then you leave the ceremony, and everybody else comes out, and then you're talking outside about, Philip is a black magician, this is what's going on here. This doesn't happen in the ceremony, you know?
But he
Yes.
quite clearly portrayed traits of a black magician, and I never saw a better portrayal of the demiurge than through him.
At that moment, yeah, it was working through. At that moment.
Has it ever
At
worked
that
through
moment.
me in that way? Huh?
Huh?
Has it ever
What?
manifested in me, that sort of behavior?
Many different ways. Many different ways.
Okay, which you can't give us an example of, for example. Can you say how I manifest as the demi? Can
You
give us
don't manifest
examples?
as the demi. I'm not calling you the demi.
You said at the beginning that the
I'm
demi
saying you have
jumped over to
access.
me after Claire.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
You remember that time in Salzburg? You remember that time in Salzburg when Chris and me went to Slay and we come back and then you were preparing dinner, you were preparing food, and then you were going through it.
Yeah.
And then we were talking to you and we said, are we talking to Steve right now? And you said, no. And you couldn't even look at us.
Yeah. I went through it. Then.
That's one example.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're aware of it or not, Steve. Okay, you're not the only one who deals with Satanists. I know how the demi operates through people. And when I see the fucker come through, I know him. I've never told you till this day because you were my friend, you were my brother, okay? I didn't want to be misunderstood, but now we've come to a point, Steve, we've got to establish this shit, man. We have a serious problem here.
Absolutely. I love it because it's getting somewhere. That's good.
It was highly...
talk. But you see, you don't, Errol, you do not direct the truth, okay? And neither do I. So you're having your time right now, okay? Spotlight on you. And there's another side to the story too. And I'm really happy that it's coming this way. I'm really, really happy.
Yeah, there always is. There always is.
I love the time for the truth. I have no fear. I'm absolutely in the most sober state I've ever been, which I'm really happy about. So I can face all of this and see exactly the dynamics of what's going on. And I'm decoding as I'm listening. So the only thing that I did is I stood up to myself together with the wizard and said and talked direct language to Philip and to Karin. Okay, so they can also be questioned. The same as people can question me. I can question Karin, I can question Philip, and I most certainly can question you also.
Yeah, Steve. Look, there's no other way of saying it, right? You're not the shaman. I am. And I don't know how else to put this. This is the dynamic. This is truth. Okay? You can say to me, you don't decide what the truth is.
It's
okay?
The truth.
Exactly. Okay? This is
truth
my
is
job.
That
you talk about trust. You talk about trust all the time. Let me finish. You obviously don't trust me to do my job. Okay?
I trust you completely to do your job there.
You didn't. You completely overrid read my work I'm doing here. Okay? And you're supposed to stay here over the weekend just like everybody else and go. So you decided you plant yourselves here for a whole week because you suspected that they're black magicians and you're going to slay them without considering the fact that you may actually fuck all this up here for all of us. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I don't think that can work. I just said my point of view, okay? And the thing is, that's just what I want to bring into the equation. I do not bow down to anyone or anything's or anyone's opinion, okay? One of my key skills that I have are leadership qualities, okay? And I'm ready to put my head on the line and state things as I see it, okay? Respecting that the truth, that I want to stick to the truth, and that no one has any influence on what the truth actually is. And through these interactions, we need to get to the bottom of this. And I just find it really interesting after challenging someone who runs a retreat center, okay, who has an altar like he has, who touches people in the ceremony, okay, and I challenge his wife also. And as soon as I asked her, So there's 200,000 Satanists operating in this country, and that's a conservative estimate. She said, "Oh, I don't want to talk about this. Oh, I don't want to talk about this." And
I'll tell
now
you what.
everything, the entire energy has shifted onto me when this is my job, Eril, okay? You're a shaman, okay? I'm an investigative journalist. I'm supposed to ask questions, okay? And that's where I want to continue on. And I don't see myself at all in this healing center. I never said that I want to lead any ceremonies. The only thing when we were there was to try to establish the trinity between me, you, and the wizard. Okay, we had a very good time together. And as soon as we left, everything changed. Everything changed again. I mean, the wizard got separated from the whole thing without even having a talk with the people.
Steve, nothing changed. It was always the same.
So you were playing with us. You were a completely different guy when we were together.
I don't play games, Steve.
Well, you have been, because you're now talking a completely 180-degree change language
Because
to
now
when we were with you.
Now I'm coming out and telling you how it is, which I've never done before.
And it's not how it is, Eril. It's your perception, which doesn't equal reality.
See, Steve, you can't play psychological games with me like you play with everyone. Okay? And you can't separate anyone. Okay?
Wow.
This isn't about me. This isn't about the next thing. Shanti's a Satanist. Okay, this whole place is Satanist. Now I'm a Satanist, obviously, according to you, because
I never said
we all
that.
disagree with. We all disagree.
When I pointed out the lie, why is it that you point this out now when I didn't even say that, Eril?
What's the lie?
No, Ahmed was talking about lying, okay, and I pointed out, let's see where I'm lying, because I wanted to hear it. And now you pointed out, now you're a Satanist, which I never said. So that's why are you pointing this out?
Oh, you misunderstood what I said. What I was saying was, with you, every time you're questioned, you shift the blame, okay? And you say, this guy's a Satanist, he's a black magician, she's a black magician, to shift blame from you so that you're not questioned, so that your truth doesn't come out.
Well, Ahmed, I want to get Ahmed in here. Ahmed, do I let it happen for me to be questioned? Do I let that happen?
Yeah, you do.
Thanks.
Because you've just showed that what Eril described there is one of those narcissistic traits. When you're wrong, you start to shift blame and say it's the other person's fault and it's not yours.
Where was I wrong?
And that's where I say
Eril's calling out is the calling out of everybody being a Satanist and a black magician, and yeah, the reaction you had during the ceremony. Of course, it was wrong to touch you. You see, this is what I had with Walter on the first ceremony, because he went. Remember, I told you he went. Shh. You know what else he did? He came to hug me. I didn't want to be hugged. I didn't want to be hugged. When I'm in that, you know how it is, right? When you're in that ceremony, you don't want to be touched. You want to stay in your body and not have any other energy interference. So I totally get the violation there. But I didn't turn around to Walter and say he was the demi and he's the fucking black magician.
Exactly.
I didn't say that to him. I said, you do not touch me. And then I said to Marco, okay, that the source is not a lie and the truth. Okay, the source is about right behavior. You jackass.
But hang on.
That's what I said to him.
You did call Philip high priest, though. And you spoke in terms of Walter being Satanist as well.
Yeah, that's well, with Philip, I'm still on the trail of thought that he's the high priest of Austria, and I have good reason to think that.
If he is, he'll be slayed anyway. He'll be slayed in ceremonies. And this is my job.
Well, he doesn't take part in ceremonies anymore. How do you slay him?
Well, we're going to see. I just got here, you know. Let's see. I don't know how this is going to turn out, how this is going to end. He may decide to join us next weekend. I don't know.
And I'm just gonna
For
get
me,
Punk
it
back.
looks like you're defending something, Steve.
Oh yeah, it's
Mhm.
always me, isn't it?
It's your choice.
It will always be you until you realize it, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're right in saying the truth. The truth is definitely relative to the consciousness that perceives it.
Yeah.
But what we are determining is, where are our individual consciousness based on?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to establish here. How much psychic hygiene do we have? Each one of us. Okay? And
I'm listening.
it's been tumultuous for you, and I have witnessed it firsthand, Steve. Not firsthand, but we've talked, and I've seen the breakdowns and the rise and the falls and the rise and the falls, and it's been quite a few of them, quite a few of these storms, emotional storms, and what it feels like is this classic symptom display of PTSD. Classic breakdown or midlife crisis or whatever you call it, and
Look,
the
you're
reason I
sitting
said,
here with us.
Mhm.
Could
the
I
reason-
say this, Amed?
yeah,
Sorry, I understand you. Look, Steve, you're sitting on this table with us, and of course you're working on something. Since the beginning, I see you work on something. You know what life is? Change. There is change. And all what you worked for is in change, so you also have to change yourself. And of
Change
course, all
constantly.
this, I just want to say, what are you hiding, man? You're writing down on your desks fully stuff to can have the control about this conversation.
No. I'm listening. I'm not taking control of this conversation. I'm listening.
You're writing down fully stuff and scrap the past
Yeah,
out while you're
Jonathan.
talking.
No, Jonathan. This is part of my work as a journalist. Okay, can you respect that? I'm not a shaman.
I'm
I'm a
saying,
journalist, Jona. Okay, that's
and
why I
that's
take
what I'm
notes.
saying.
They're controlling the
I
conversation with
say to
notes.
you, oh my God, I say to you, you work this, and I respect it. I said it at the beginning, Steve. I said it at the beginning that I respect that you're working on something. But on